What if you approach problems differently? What if you connect two unrelated ideas? What if I approach this from a completely different angle that I didn't even think about? That small shift can spark a big breakthrough. And then you want to take action on creativity, even small acts like brainstorming or journaling, like to get that mind working again. Then for the connections, leverage your network that you already have. Collaboration sparks innovation.
So, today we're visiting with Matthew Greger, who has spent over 30 years shaping the landscape of tech, marketing, and design. And he's got the stories to prove it. Imagine developing a framework so powerful it helps people unlock their hidden brilliance. That's just one of the things Matthew has accomplished. From building custom software for small businesses to igniting the spark of creativity in others, Matthew's journey is a masterclass in turning inspiration into impact. So join us as we explore how Matthew discovered their own overflowing bucket and how he uses it to ignite the spark of brilliance in others. Everyone, Matthew Greger. Matthew! Yay!
Thank you, Bettina. Appreciate it.
Yes, I appreciate you joining me today. Excuse my crazy. I'm actually in my RV where we've moved into our RV for a little bit. So it's part of our life's little journey and I'm really stoked about it. But it also means that I'm not in my stable, is that the right word? Stable environment.
That's perfectly fine. Look, we're all getting curious and creative out there. I mean, I've got kitchen renovation going on the other side of my wall right now, so who knows what we'll hear.
Fun. Oh, fun. That is always fun. Like a renovation in your kitchen. You don't think how that's going to impact you and how much you use your
Oh
kitchen
my
until
God.
there's a reno in the kitchen. You're like, "Ooh,
Yep,
this really is the center of my home universe."
definitely. Nothing like camping inside.
So tell me, so you've worked across like tech, marketing, graphics, the whole works. Um, what would you say is the one key thing that connects all these areas and how does that thing influence your ideas?
Okay, the one thing that connects all these fields together, tech, marketing, and design, is problem solving through creativity. Each of these fields may seem different, but they all require curiosity, adaptability, and the ability to connect ideas in new ways. In tech, you're solving problems with code and systems. In marketing, you're solving them through messaging and engagement. And in design, it's about visual functionality and creativity. It's all about asking what if, and then finding innovative ways to bring that vision to life. Creativity isn't confined to one discipline, it's a mindset. For me, that mindset is fueled by curiosity, constantly questioning,
Yeah.
exploring, and connecting ideas that might seem unrelated at first, but that's where the magic happens. This interconnectedness influences my ideas by pushing me to think beyond the boundaries. For example, when I was
I
developing,
love that.
great,
I
just,
love that. I want to go, I know you're about to tell a story, but
yep,
can we just stay here for just a minute?
sure.
Okay. So I want to have a conversation. I want it to be a little selfish on this.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, perfect.
So, so I know you say like, this is brilliant. So you're going to think brilliant. So uh, I want to know like how to tap into that creativity and also how to teach that, inspire others to do that. Cause I feel like a lot of times we, like society will tell us just do what you're told. This is what we're
Mhm.
taught in school. Do what you're told. Here's a checklist. Do the checklist. Right?
Right.
Like that creativity is not what, and it's interesting because you don't think about creativity in engineering and software and development. Everything is like people ask how to, but there's that creativity that requires that curiosity. How do we spark that within us? Like the framework behind that?
Well, it starts with a simple shift in mindset. And my favorite question is, "What if?" And if you can ask, kind of, what if this is possible? And you can become curious about it when you have a problem. You know, what if you approached a problem differently? What if you connected two unrelated ideas? What if I approached this from a completely different angle? And then becoming curious about what that is. To me, curiosity, I'm just curious about everything. I've been that way since I was 5 years old, and my grandfather gave me a pocket watch, and I took it apart, and I could see the jewels inside. I could see the gears moving. I couldn't put it together again, but it was great to see how it worked. When I stand in line at the airport and I'm waiting to have my luggage checked in, and I'm watching all the other stuff go through, and then I see the luggage disappear and go through the vertical blinds, in my back of my mind, I'm saying, okay, what happened to it afterwards? So
Yeah.
is it Oompa Loompas that are putting it on a cart and getting it on the plane, or is it going through barcode thing and, and moving around?
How does this work? Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's
How do you instill that, and how do you, like, for those who don't have that natural tendency since they were 5 years old,
hmm
right? But I
hmm
also believe that everybody has it in them, but it gets
it
lost.
gets
It
it gets
it
squashed. When we're kids. I mean, yeah, I've got grandkids now, and so you watch them as they explore, and they're like, this world is brand new to them. And
Yeah.
we lose that. We get either peer pressure, or we get stuck in ways of doing things in school. In elementary school, we're taught to explore and to be curious about what things are and stuff, and then it just gets squashed. And how can we bring that back? We got to find those things that excite us again. You've got to find something that's there. And I've got curiosity exercises. I've got different ways to like try to break in and help you reignite that curiosity in there, because we all have creative expression inside of us. Whether that's how you decorate your home, or whether it's how you do your work in your office, how you set yourself up. We all have a way of creatively expressing what we do. And it's finding that. And when you can find that and you can discover that moment that comes together, there's something exciting about that again.
Yeah.
And you just taking a walk outside, and when you take a walk outside, you learn to see things differently. It's not just the walk, right? It's like open up, go on a walk sometime and just listen to different sounds. So your focus of your walk is just to listen as you're walking and see what you can hear. Take another walk at another time and just focus visually on it. What do you see? You see from things you see on the ground to trees to different areas. It's amazing when you start to think about it, what you can see,
Mm.
and what you can hear, and it just gives you that invigorating thing that's missing in life.
So it's not so it's like bringing awareness to something. So start looking and listening and it's seeking. It's just seeking things, and then allowing yourself to be willing to go down that rabbit hole. Wait, what was that sound? Where was that? What did it,
Yeah,
right? Which takes time.
right.
So you said you have some exercises. I love that exercise. You brought up two things that we can do. Just start asking what ifs. Go for a walk and start
hmm
listening and looking and seeing with intention. What are some other exercises? Because I think you're right. Like that curiosity leads to creativity, and that is such that I think it so gets overlooked. People bring it up,
Yes.
and it's so flippant, like, oh, just be curious and creative, but it's been so squashed in so many of us, if we're adults, that we're almost afraid to let it out.
Indeed. And you can download these curiosity exercises on my website, but I'll go through a couple of them briefly with you now. You can start off with like just a question journal. And the idea here is just cultivate a habit of asking questions about your daily surroundings and experiences. So, a way to do this is set up your journal, use a physical notebook or a digital app like Growth Day to record your questions. And then daily observations. Each day, observe your surroundings or situations and jot down at least one question that comes to mind. And at the end of the week, select one or two questions and conduct more online research to find the answers. And then reflect, write a brief summary of what you learned about this and how it impacted your curiosity level. Another one is you could just learn a new skill. Stimulate curiosity by acquiring a new skill. And then just choose something that you're interested in, whether it's a language, a musical instrument, or if you're, a computer geek, a coding language. Learn resources. Use online platforms like Duolingo for languages, Code Academy for coding, or YouTube for tutorials for various skills. And then just practice. Set up a practice schedule and dedicate regular time each day to practice and learn. And then just kind of do a progress log. Keep a log of your progress and any curious observations or challenges you encounter. These are a couple different ways to do it, but I think what's important is
What's your website? You say you have more on your website. What's your website?
yeah, it's MatthewGregor.com. MatthW.
Well, isn't that? I love that. MatthewGregor.com. I love it when folks keep it that simple. And it's GREGER.
Yeah.
GREGER. And it's Matthew, MatthewGreger.com.
Correct.
And there's so many tools. And it seems like, tell me if I'm right, we make this part of our life, these practices of curiosity and creativity. It appears that we would just have a fuller life because of it.
Indeed. And I wrote a book called Think Brilliance: How to Harness the Power of Curiosity and Creativity. It just came out in January, and it's based on my
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay.
And it's based on my framework called Think Brilliance, and it's essentially three key elements: curiosity, creativity, and connection. And these three forces drive innovation, problem solving, and meaningful impact. Curiosity fuels that exploration, asking new questions, challenging assumptions. Creativity transforms those ideas into solutions. It's about seeing possibilities others overlook. And what's really exciting, when you can get curious and creative to feed, if you get curiosity and creativity to feed off each other, I call this the C-squared principle. The more curious you are, the more creative you become. As you become more creative, you also become more curious. And the magic that puts this all together are the connections. Connections amplify brilliance because ideas grow stronger when shared and refined through collaboration. And there's some easy ways you can do this daily too. You can start off. There's three simple ways to really use the framework on a daily basis. And that's what we already talked about.
Okay.
The first one is starting to ask what if. What if you approach problems differently? What if you connect two unrelated ideas? What if I approach this from a completely different angle that I didn't even think about? That small shift can spark a big breakthrough. And then you want to take action on creativity, even small acts like brainstorming or journaling, like I talked about in a few minutes ago, or testing new approaches to things. Help flex your creative muscles. We need to start flexing that creative muscle again. Get out of the scrolling distraction of what we do on here on the phones. Get out of that and into really just finding creative ways, whether it's putting together a puzzle or it's doing something to get that mind working again. And then for the connections, leverage your network that you already have. Collaboration sparks innovation. Having a 5-minute conversation can change everything. Find somebody you can connect with. So when you apply these changes and steps consistently, you open doors to breakthroughs both personally and professionally.
I love that, and I love that the way you talk about the connection, because now you've probably helped somebody else have more curiosity and in that topic as well. And then to be able to create together with somebody else, it makes me think it's like now you become a band or a symphony together.
Mm-hmm.
and it just creates more harmony. And once again, a fuller life. I love this whole concept that you talk about, and it seems so incredibly simple. Where do you see people having the biggest challenge in doing this? Because this seems like such the foundation to all things great.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge that we all have is that fear of the unknown, right? And being afraid to do something different. What is it going to mean? What's going to happen? Or you're unsure, right? You're not confident in doing something else. So it's whatever you do, you want to take small steps in becoming more curious or creative. Try different things out there. Start by taking a look at my curiosity exercises. Find something that really you can embrace with, whether it's something you love in nature. Start spending a little bit more time out there and learning to observe and just look a little bit more. Being intentional about what you're doing. It can, once you recognize that, I'm looking out my window right now and the wind is blowing just a little bit and there's still snow on the ground, but the way the wind moves the leaves gets my mind off into something else. And so when you can do that,
like you're daydreaming, you
yeah,
just did a little glimpse of daydreaming there.
right. And so when you can do that, and it takes your mind somewhere that you weren't prepared to be, and sometimes the side adventures can then, when you come back from that, you go, wow, maybe I can solve this problem now. And it's just learning to see things differently. I've got an inapt ability to really see the problem, and I work with a number of different people. And to me, something complex is simple in my mind, and it's how do we break that complexity down so that others can see it, or how can you see it? How, when you see something really complex, how can you approach that problem? So what are different ways that you can become curious to do that? And one way that I do, like if I'm trying to solve a problem, I use what's called the 50-50 approach. And what that means is the problem in this half or the other half? And so when you can start narrowing that down and you realize, okay, over here it's working, over here it's not. Okay, now I don't have to worry about this part of it, especially like in code when I was doing code troubleshooting. Okay, now I know it's this half, it's somewhere here, and you kind of keep cutting it in half and half again till you narrow down what it is. It's
Got
things
it.
like that.
Okay. So I'm going to talk like as a mom,
Yep.
because I happen to be one. So how do we instill this into our children? It sounds like, and I'm sitting here listening to you, and also I'm having this side thought in my head. So I apologize, but I was like, oh, my husband's really great at asking our kids, well, what if? What about if we do this?
Mhm.
And I think about how times maybe like in the Jeep, I'm like, ooh, wonder what's down this trail,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And wonder what's going there. What else as parents can we do to help our children keep that creativity, keep that curiosity, and to build that connection with them so that they remain curious and creative, so that it doesn't get out of them, so they keep that and retain that through their lives?
Yeah, that's a great question because I'm fortunate that my parents encouraged me to stay curious and creative. And my father's the one that sparked the whole adventure for me by destroying our TV. And that's really the turning point of my life and how I really became more curious and more creative because he did it out of an act of, I guess, parenting because my brother and I were arguing and he had
He was
enough.
frustrated,
Yeah,
annoyed, and he
yeah.
threw the TV out the window,
Just
right?
about. He knocked it off the shelf and broke it into pieces. And but that gave me the opportunity.
I was kind of exciting, but not, I guess.
Yeah,
Wow.
that
Okay.
really happened when I was about 11 years old, 11, 12 years old, and my
Okay.
brother and I were fighting, and he had had enough and just said that was it. We were fighting over the TV channel at the time, and we both weren't
Uh-huh.
doing great in school, and so that I'm not suggesting to do that drastically, but that set off us to become more creative and more curious because now we didn't have that main source of entertainment, right? So now we had to like figure
It
out
would
things to do.
That makes me think about, because I know for us in our household, our phone,
Yes.
it's worse because it's like right in our hand,
Hmm.
right? And it's everywhere with us. I'm used to, you'd have to go, when I was a kid, we didn't have a TV in our room, so we had to go to the living room to have the TV. And like, it was like you said, you battled on which channel. Now I know I can hear my daughter in the other room on her phone.
Right. Right.
And I'm always like, I feel like it's constantly feeding her. And there's that part of me that says, well, she's going down curious rabbit holes,
Hmm. Hmm.
but it doesn't, where's the creativity?
Right.
And then you had your third part,
Others. Right.
connections.
Right.
Right. So as a parent, I'm thinking, okay, she's got the curious, but not the creativity
Right.
and not the connection. And I see how that framework, that little, you need all three to really, really be more fulfilled. And I know that you're talking about like this is overcoming challenges and all the things, all the problems that this framework will solve. I'm just thinking a fuller life.
Yes, and getting back to your question about how can you do that with your kids, how can you keep that going? You know, you already are
Yeah.
setting that example by what do we what happens if we go down this road, you know, in the Jeep? You know, it's keeping those kind of things up. It's like when they ask you a question, take it and explore it. Create an environment that embraces curiosity and creativity. You know, encourage them to when they ask a question or you ask questions of them, encourage that conversation, keep that going, and take some of those side ventures that may lead you off the direction you wanted to go. We moved when we moved from California to Alabama. You know, we were in a pickup truck and a VW Bug, and we took side ventures. We went and saw the Painted Desert as we went different
Mm.
areas along the way, and you know make those moments in time and keep encouraging your kids to be curious. Don't yeah,
Explore.
explore. Don't stop them from wanting to do that. You know, it's amazing where they'll go.
You know, it's interesting. Like you mentioned, like if they ask a question, right?
Hmm.
Ask a question and then explore that. I tend to, they ask a question, I give an answer.
Hmm.
And they miss out on, it's like I've robbed them. I'm thinking about that. I feel like I may have robbed them of that curiosityness. Like they came to me curious and we didn't create the answer together. We had a curiosity and a connection, but no creativity.
Right. I mean that's a good example. Maybe
Oh,
come back and ask them what would their answer be? How would they find the answer? Here's a clue for you. Now go explore and come back to me with what you think. You know, taking things.
and that's interesting because that's a, go
I
ahead.
know as a parent, we have three kids, and growing up, you know, you get in the whole hustle and bustle of everything going on, right? You know, 'cause,
Right.
and you if you're working also and you come home, or if you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, you know, you're still running a house. You still have a job to do. There's still dishes. There's still laundry. There's still things you got to do, but it's involving them and in those day-to-day
Yeah.
things and just making sure that when that question comes, that you pause and you just be intentional about how you answer it. I know it's hard at times, especially when the chaos is there, but if you can have
Yeah.
If you can have more of those moments, it's amazing what will come from it.
Because I know this is true for coaching too, right? So like when you coach, right?
Right.
You're you're bringing in curiosity and you're helping the person create through your connection.
Correct.
This is I love the simpleness of this. The simpleness of this is just brilliant because I just have to check off those three boxes. This is
Indeed.
brilliant. I love this. I love that you put it in a book, right? To help us even go down that. Where can we get the book? Like on Amazon, on your
Yeah, it's on.
website?
It's on. There's links on my website, and you can go to Amazon and you can look up Think Brilliance, or you can look up my name, and you'll see it there.
That's fantastic. Thank you for writing that book.
Thank you. It's been a challenge. It's been a great journey this last year, just to put it all together. You know, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's exciting to have conversations like this, and to share. You know, my goal is to create that ripple effect of brilliance where we can all just share with each other.
I love your faith in believing that we all have that brilliance inside of
Hmm.
us,
Hmm.
and to re-spark that, to know that it is in there, right? And to re-spark it. And I love that you recognize that it just needs to that there's exercises you can grow that muscle. You put it on your website, like, here are the tools, here's the workout you can do. You do these workouts, you can be super strong in this area. Like, you don't, and this is life changing. I think people forget. They go through the day to day and they don't realize the value of having this and being filled in this way and fueled in this way. So
Indeed. Indeed.
I love this. I love this conversation so much. I know that you probably had something specifically that you wanted to talk about. Like, this might not be it, but this was like, this is good for me. And I hope others love it too. But this was great conversation for me. Thank you for this. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. So do I. So I'll just end it with this, that unlocking brilliance isn't about having all the answers. It's about asking better questions, embracing creativity, and building meaningful connections. That's what my book Think Brilliance is all about, helping you break free from limitations, solve problems in innovative ways, and turn ideas into impact. If you've ever felt stuck, uncertain, or like there's another level of potential within you that you just haven't tapped into yet, this book's for you. It's a framework, a mindset shift, a guide to unlocking brilliance that's already inside you. So if today's conversation resonated with you, I invite you to start asking what if more often. Take bold action on your ideas and connect with others who inspire you. And if you're ready to dive deeper, grab a copy of Think Brilliance and let's unlock your full potential together. So thank you so much for having me on today. This has been an amazing conversation.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it tremendously. Thank you so much. Appreciate you,
Thank you. I
Matthew.
appreciate you and everything you're doing too, Bettina.